please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hello and welcome. You're joining us on Business Lunch on this Friday. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is, as always, Sonia Shenoy. Sonia, good afternoon. Not a good Friday. Yeah. I would say at the moment markets are down. In fact, the key index is down 0.5% and it's the mid-cap universe which is taking a deeper knock at this point. And Bank Nifty also is not coming in as any solace. In fact, has dipped further in the trades in the last few minutes of trade, heavily in favor of the declines at this moment. So not a good day of trade, and it's a spoiled spot really coming in from both crude oil as well as the rupee.
Yes, in fact, for the week, I was just looking at how the week has shaped up. It's not been a good week for us at all. The frontliners have fallen almost 1.5% this week. The mid-cap index is down 2.5% this week. And ever since the Karnataka election uncertainty came about BJP not being able to form the government, since then the Nifty has fallen almost 250 points from that 10,800, 10,900 high. So I guess we're pricing in a little bit of the political uncertainty, and then we have more to go tomorrow with that floor test as well.
Oh yes, this year is an election year, Sonia. Until the union elections, there will be uncertainty. So no matter how the global factors really perform, we will still be uncertain. And unfortunately, the global factors are also not in favor.
Absolutely. As they say, when it rains, it pours. So I guess that's what's happening with our own markets as well. But anyway, straight to the big political story. The Karnataka elections have taken another big turn as the Supreme Court has directed the floor test tomorrow at 4 p.m. Ashmit Kumar and Rukmini Rao join in. Ashmit has been tracking all the courtroom action. It's been more thrilling than the recent, the best thriller that you've seen in terms of even a movie, Ashmit. I mean, so much has happened over the last 24 to 48 hours. But you tell us, what's the latest been from the courtroom?
Well, indeed, this was the first hearing after the midnight hearing that we saw just a few hours back. And all eyes were, in fact, set on this, as this would the tone going forward as far as the Karnataka elections are concerned. And to that effect, the Apex Court has delivered. It has made it abundantly clear that there are enough constitutional and legal precedents in place that warrant a floor test that would set the ball rolling as far as the formation of the government is concerned, that will answer the question as to the mandate rests, and towards that end, the Apex Court, not mincing words, making it very, very clear that it is directing a floor test to be conducted as of 4 p.m. tomorrow. So that is where the ball lies as of right now. The Karnataka Assembly floor will see the test, the government enjoys any numbers at the assembly level. Now, what's important are the arguments upon which this order essentially rests. Now, what's interesting is that Kapil Sibal, who was conspicuous by his absence at the midnight hearing, made an appearance today where he, alongside Abhishek Manu Singhvi, essentially argued that from pure arithmetic, it's quite clear that the BJP does not quite enjoy the numbers. They were arguing that the only way the BJP will be able to manufacture a majority is by breaking up the Congress or the JDS, which in their words would be a constitutional immorality. The Apex Court, in a way conceding to that argument, also said that deciding upon the actions of the governor is an exercise that could take some time, but the immediate need of the hour to remedy the current situation, to remedy the current deadlock in the state of Karnataka, it's essential that the question be answered as to where the mandate lies, and to that effect, the answer has been given, the Apex Court making it very clear that the floor test needs to be conducted. Now, keep in mind that even as this order was being pronounced, there was severe opposition from the BJP. The BJP argued that there are constitutional precedents which demand a 15-day period. They then revised their request from 15 days to at least 7 days, and further said at least let's postpone it to Monday. But the Apex Court not buying, making it very clear that tomorrow is when the D-Day is for the Yeddyurappa government in the state of Karnataka.
Oh yes, Ashmit. So a lot of courtroom action there, and Supreme Court really not giving heed to what BJP really said as far as timing is concerned. But the action now shifts to Karnataka, and that's where our colleague Rukmini Rao is. So Rukmini, you will be there giving us the ground report 4 p.m. tomorrow, and that's all the time that BJP has to really prove its muster there.
Well, Nisha, we may not have to wait till about 4 p.m. or so, because as soon as the Supreme Court verdict came in, the Chief Minister of the state, Yeddyurappa, swung into action. He held a emergency cabinet meeting where the Chief Secretary of the state was there, and right after that he came out, and just a few minutes ago he confirmed that there is going to be an assembly, a special session of the assembly that has been called, and that will be at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So we will be seeing the assembly starting at 11 a.m. tomorrow, and of course a lot of modalities will have to be worked out. We'll also need to have a speaker, so we should be looking at some of the top senior leaders who might be appointed as the speaker for this. So perhaps we'll be looking at a floor test somewhere around 12:30 or 1, I guess. So we won't have to wait till about 4 p.m. tomorrow, but the assembly session being at 11, things will unfold starting 11. So it's going to be a hectic political day going forward. We do understand that Yeddyurappa will be meeting senior BJP leaders here, the central leaders like Muralidhar Rao, Prakash Javadekar, all of them still in Bangalore. And of course, Yeddyurappa has also gone on to say that he's asked the party MLAs to come back to Bangalore by tomorrow evening, so they have all of them in one place by tomorrow. And what we do understand from our Congress and JDS sources is that, of course, all of them might end up either flying out of Hyderabad, where they're stationed currently, late today night or tomorrow early morning, let's say. Back to you.
Okay, so much action. Yes, all the Congress JDS MLAs that were herded to Hyderabad will now have to be sort of flown back. So much drama taking place there. But thanks, guys, for joining us and giving us all the latest updates. But let's also hear out what former Law Minister Ashwini Kumar and Abhishek Manu Singhvi of the Congress had to say on the Supreme Court verdict.
Well, the court's decision is a vindication of democracy. It is a vindication of the Constitution. I believe the Supreme Court has kept faith with the people of India. I believe Supreme Court has vindicated its role as the ultimate arbiter of the Constitution. I think the decision of the governor to call Mr. Yeddyurappa in the first place was wholly unconstitutional and politically unethical. I think the curtains must come down on this sordid saga. I think the nation must move on, democracy must move on, and today we must celebrate the victory of democracy.
So what happens to the decisions which were taken by Mr. Yeddyurappa himself? He was a chief minister for a day, decides to knock off...
The decisions of Mr. Yeddyurappa are wholly unconstitutional.
Infructuous?
Since he himself never had the authority to be in the seat of the chief minister. That is the clear implication of today's order.
And what happens to the institution of governors itself? Do you believe that this order which has been passed, sir, does this not also throw a huge question mark now on the limits of discretionary powers which can be used by governors in this country?
Look, the exercise of discretion under Article 164 is in the nature of a sovereign prerogative, but it is predicated on the assumption that the power of discretion would be fairly and honestly exercised. So it is now incumbent for us to ensure that governors do not act whimsically or capriciously, as was the case in Karnataka.
It is a historic interim order. The order is historic because the court has directed a confidence motion within less than 36 hours. The confidence motion is subject to many safeguards. Members of the Anglo-Indian community cannot be nominated. Mr. Yeddyurappa conceded through his counsel that he cannot have any major policy decisions taken. Security was provided. A pro tem speaker, not a regular speaker, will conduct. He will swear in everybody before 4 o'clock, and all will assemble and have the vote of confidence at 4 o'clock.
All right, so that was all the courtroom action and all that drama that really panned out in New Delhi. But definitely now the action has shifted to Karnataka. And even though the markets are not really taking the Supreme Court verdict well, meanwhile, BJP's B.S. Yeddyurappa says that he is confident of getting the full majority tomorrow.
I'm going to obey the orders of the Supreme Court. Now I will go and discuss with Chief Secretary. Tomorrow I will call for assembly session and other procedures will follow. And I have got confidence we are going to get full majority and we will prove the majority.
Meanwhile, the Congress JDS MLAs are all huddled in Hyderabad. Sources indicate this is to ensure all of them present a united front and are secured from alleged poaching. Nithya Balakrishnan is standing by Taj Krishna in Hyderabad with the latest. Nithya, what is the initial reaction to the Supreme Court verdict and any indication of the Congress JDS combine's next move, what it could be?
That's right, an absolutely action-packed morning here in Hyderabad today. We did hear the Supreme Court just minutes ago announce that verdict, and initially the Congress and JDS MLAs who have gathered behind me here in Taj Krishna in Hyderabad seem to be very welcoming of that verdict. They're confident that given no ambiguity, the fact that the floor test will be taking place in the next 24 hours has given them significant relief, really. No question of 7 days or 15 days. They will have to prove majority numbers by tomorrow evening itself. Now you can see behind me the kind of heavy security and police personnel that have been deployed to minimize contact with the MLAs present inside. What we're picking up is all 117 Congress and JDS MLAs of Karnataka will be here in Hyderabad by end of day. Now, initially, we're given to understand that the next course of action is that they want to move the MLAs directly from Hyderabad, Taj Krishna, to the international airport tomorrow morning. From there, they will fly out to Bengaluru International Airport and directly head to the Vidhan Sauda for the floor test. Now, this will indicate that they are not available for any kind of external contact. And what we're given to understand from sources inside is they believe this is the best course of action to ensure there is no alleged poaching ahead of that floor test tomorrow. They are confident that they have the numbers, but that is something that the BJP is also indicating. So it remains to be seen tomorrow when the action shifts back to Karnataka, who in reality has the numbers. But one thing is for certain, there is never a dull moment in politics, and this is ample example of just that.
Oh yes, welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch. Let's take it straight to some earnings to watch out for today. And from the auto pack, Bajaj Auto as well as Ashok Leyland will report their Q4 numbers. And Sonia is right here to take us through the expectations. Tell us, Sonia, what to look out for.
Well, you know, for Bajaj Auto, the numbers are expected any time now. Expected to be a pretty good set this time around. Now, two of their pockets have done well. You have the overall volume growth, which was very strong, 33-odd%. But you also have the export and three-wheeler volumes, which did quite well. The three-wheeler volumes have picked up because of the higher exports as well as opening up of permits in certain states. And, you know, the base quarter was impacted by demonetization, so year-on-year the numbers will look very good. But even sequentially, most believe that because traditional markets in the export business like Nigeria, etc. have picked up, there is an expectation that overall the numbers will look pretty good, even on the margin basis. So expecting a revenue growth of 34%, profit growth of 30-odd%, and margins to pick up as well. Quickly on to Ashok Leyland, a good quarter for them. It's been a record quarter in terms of commercial vehicle sales. Uttar Pradesh had a phenomenal growth actually because of that overloading ban in many of those states. So now there's been demand for higher tonnage growth because of higher tonnage vehicles, because of which the margins have looked pretty good. So these are, you know, a couple of expectations for Ashok Leyland as well. But I just want to point out for the market, the mid-cap index is falling rather rapidly right now. So don't lose sight of that. The index is down 200 points, the mid-cap index. So just pull that up. And suddenly in the last 5-10 minutes, there's been a slide there. SRF is down almost 11% right now, despite having a good set of numbers. So this market is clearly in profit-taking mode at the moment.
Sonia, it's a free fall, especially in the mid-cap space, 200 points down. But also look at Avenue Supermarts. There was a news development that 1% stake will be sold by Radhakrishna Dabani, who's the promoter of the company, to meet the MPS norms. And because of that, the stock has fallen, just plummeted more than 5%. Now, it must be noted that the promoter is not selling out of no confidence in that stock doing well going forward, but it's more to meet the requirements. But of course, we'll get more details on why the market is really reacting in this fashion. So keep an eye out on that particular development and that news flow that has come in. But one more earnings impact that we need to see is Bajaj Finance, which posted a stellar growth, and also Bajaj Finserv too in focus on the back of those earnings. And Abhishek Kothari, who else to really pour over that and give us more details. Abhishek.
Well, as you mentioned, Nisha, it has been a stellar quarter for Bajaj Finance. Their AUM growth at 40% is the highest in last 2 to 3 or even 4 quarters. And that was largely driven by consumer and rural business. So asset quality improved despite the fact that they transited to 90 days past due recognition as earlier 120 days past due recognition. So gross NPA improved by 19 basis points on a quarter-on-quarter basis to about 1.48%. despite the fact that their gross NPA declined, they actually strengthened their asset quality in terms of provision coverage ratio, which improved to 75% versus 68%. Analysts on Street have given a thumbs up to this earnings, and Morgan Stanley have increased the target price to 2,500 from 2,000 rupees. Jefferies have raised the target price to 2,400 from 2,100, while Credit Suisse maintains an underperformance rating but has increased the target price to 1,500 from 1,300 earlier. Bajaj Finserv, the sequential growth in their insurance business premium was pretty strong. General insurance premium growing by 46%, while life insurance premium growing by 54%. So consolidated PAT was aided by Bajaj Finance because insurance PAT was slightly on the declining trend. Total income grew by 25% YOY and about 15% sequentially. PAT grew by 38% YOY, while it declined by 8.5%, largely due to the fact that life insurance and general insurance PAT was down. Brokerage remained upbeat. Nomura has a 5,900 target price. Let's listen in what the management has to say about their results.
It has been a very strong quarter, as you can see, even though we've had reasonably strong quarters earlier as well. But this one clearly outdid that. And can a book grow at this pace quarter after quarter? I don't think so. You can see that on the ground things have started improving the last 4 or 5 months for SME. So we are less worried about it than what we were, say, a year or 18 months ago. And to that extent, our exposure there will slowly start growing. Of course, relative exposure may still be where it is because the other segments are growing well. But yes, at the microeconomic level, we are seeing improved activity and lower risk in the recent months. The model allows us 18 to 20% ROE with kind of growth, and if you see our provisioning numbers also, our net loss is less than 40 bips. All this is adding in the quarter and the year and boosting up the ROE to where it is right now. But a 20% ROE is something that is eminently sustainable.
Okay, that's Sanjeev Bajaj of Bajaj Finance and Finserv, one of the biggest wealth creators in the recent past. Let's take a break, but the Committee of Creditors of Binani Cement are all set to evaluate Ultratech's revised offer in today's meeting. We'll get you more when we return. It's not looking good for the markets at all. By the way, those are some numbers coming in. Transport Corp, the net profits look pretty good. They've actually grown to 32 crores versus about 18.5 crores on a year-on-year basis. Let's wait by for what the numbers are on the top line. Remember, this is not a market in which stocks are getting rewarded for good earnings because the mood is such. But nevertheless, these are a decent set of numbers. On the bottom line, that is, we'll reserve our comment until we see more top line and margin performance. By the way, a lot of stocks coming under pressure now, not just SRF, which is down almost 12% right now. Adani Transmission, Jyoti Labs, GMR Infra, Radico Khaitan, all down in the red. But some more numbers on Transport Corp on the revenues. That looks pretty good, and that's the reason why the stock has suddenly surged 26% higher there. But to the latest in the Binani Cement insolvency case, the Committee of Creditors of Binani Cement are all set to evaluate Ultratech's revised offer for the company in today's meeting. Ritu Singh joins in to tell us what can be expected. Ritu, over to you.
Well, Sonia, that's right. Today is actually the first time that Ultratech's revised offer will be considered by the lenders. So far, that had not formally been placed before the Committee of Creditors. Remember, in the last meeting, which was cancelled by the resolution professional, the lenders as well as the RP wanted to get a legal opinion on whether or not they should be accepting Ultratech's revised offer, given that, Dalmia Bharat had also alleged that it was acting in concert with Binani Industries, that by default, being the promoter of a defaulting company, is not eligible to bid for the company under Section 29A, but that had been set aside by the NCLAT, which told the resolution professional not to offer comments on eligibility, but just to pass on the revised offer to the Committee of Creditors that will take the final call. So today's meetings is set to start at around 2:30 p.m. We understand that the revised offer on the table is 7960 crore rupees from Ultratech. This compares with about 6590 crore rupees from Dalmia Bharat's consortium, which was earlier declared as the winning bidder. Also, parallelly, Binani Industries, the parent company of Binani Cement, had filed a plea for termination of IBC proceedings in the NCLAT, and that hearing is also scheduled for Tuesday, before which lenders will have to submit their comments on that, as well as the minutes of today's meeting with the court.
All right, thanks Ritu for getting us all those details. So this one is going to be an important meeting by the COC, but of course some legal tangles cannot be really averted after that as well. Now with the onslaught of summer, Maharashtra and Gujarat state FTAs are conducting massive drives to really inspect milk adulteration, and loose as well as branded packaged milk will be inspected, and these include the likes of Nestle, Amul as well as Britannia. Priya Sheth is getting us all those details on this development. Priya.
Well, with the demand-supply dynamics changing with regards to milk and milk products for the summer, we do understand that state FDAs of Maharashtra as well as Gujarat are embarking on a massive drive to check on milk adulteration across the states. In fact, we do understand that the FDAs will be inspecting random samples of loose as well as packaged milk across brands, and they will also be looking at several grey areas or pockets that they've identified across the state. Several parameters which include the fat content, the urea content as well as the presence of foreign objects in milk will also be surveyed, and the samples will be sent to the food testing laboratories across the states. Now surveillance will also be conducted in the milk collection centers on several parameters including the hygiene as far as milk is concerned, and the results will be declared in a very short period of time. Of course, we do understand that inspections will take place across intervals, and over the next couple of weeks other states are also likely to follow suit as far as the check on milk adulteration is concerned, and that's something that we will keep reporting and keep you updated as to how the results really pan out.